very warm welcome to all. Good morning or good afternoon depending on where you're located. Today we're going to talk through the Holiday Playbook 2019, recommendations, timelines, checklists and more to ensure that you make the most of this upcoming holiday season through your usage of SA360. At the end of this live stream, you'll be able to ask your questions live by pasting them in the comment section below. But before we jump into that, let's give you a quick intro of who we are. I'm Tanya Kaza, and I've worked with the SA360 product support operations and then the SA360 sales team for around about 2 years, based here in Dublin, after a brief 3-year stint with Google Ads.
Hello everyone, my name is Rene Cabral and I'm a GMP Tech Manager focused on Search Ads 360, currently working for Spain and Portugal, and super happy to be here with you for getting ready to the holiday season.
Now, before we get started, a quick shout out. This has been a really busy year for SA360 with a lot of betas, upcoming features, launches, and if you want to keep up with all of those updates, it's as simple as going to our website, eventswithgoogle.com/GMP on air, click on the register option, let us know which email ID you'd like to receive these updates on, and you get a whole bunch of GMP related updates from DV360, GA360, SA360, case studies, and a lot more. Now to jump into why we're here today. Every year I do a personal countdown to Cyber Monday and Christmas because that's when I think the best deals are online. And I'm sure a lot of others do too. We're around about 64 days to Black Friday and 90 days to Christmas. But keeping my personal excitement about Christmas aside, it's a very exciting and a busy time for clients and agencies to get a lot of things set up and tailored and ready to roll with the clock ticking to the holiday season. Now I know 3 months can seem like it's a long while away, but I wanted to highlight how these strategies can play into all other holiday events pre-Christmas. And above all, it could take a lot of time to prep, to plan, to test, to set it up, and set up different ways that you can measure all of the efforts that you're putting in. So we want to ensure that you have enough time to feel comfortable with your SA360 holiday plan.
That's it. So to kick off, we're going to start running with some smart bidding best practices. We've had some recent launches such as auction time bidding, seasonality adjustments, impression share and budget bid strategies. Afterwards, we'll look at campaign management at scale through inventory feeds for both retail and non-retail businesses, and also how to create ads at scale with Ad Builder. And finally, we'll go through business data as well in Search Ads 360. However, implementing at scale is a job of them unless we measure it, so we'll also talk through some tools and tips to automate measurements. In terms of timelines, this is a snapshot of the timeline covering different strategies and approaches you can take. Each feature takes a different amount of time and setup process, so they are broken down by standard rule of thumb recommendations that then you can tailor to your own internal timelines. We will revisit towards the end of the session, and we will also take you through it in more detail shortly. But the key message here is ensure you are giving enough time to go through these approaches, test them, implement them ahead of the holiday rush so that you are totally ready when Black Friday and all these Christmas promos come in.
So let's get kick-started with smart bidding. Around this time every year, the main question on most clients' mind is, do I keep my bid strategies on? And unlike all of the other years, this year, the answer is a loud yes. Both Google Ads and SA360 recommend keeping your bid strategies on this year. This is because of all the changes that we've been making to the algorithm, the upcoming features, and some of the features that have already launched in the last couple of months that have led us to be very confident that we'll be able to react to the incremental peak quicker and believe that automation will help you hit your targets and goals without manual intervention needed on those peak conversion dates. Now, there are 2 types of peaks your business could potentially see. The first type is a peak in conversions and conversion rates around a very specific holiday date. So let's take Black Friday or Cyber Monday as an example, where there is a whole rise in volume as well as conversion on that specific date. For this kind of a peak, we've got a feature called seasonality adjustment that can help you capitalize on the sudden increase in conversions and help the algorithm react a lot quicker. The second type of peak that you might see is a very gradual, let's say about 10 to 15% increase over a period of time leading up to that specific holiday. This could potentially mean a day-on-day increase of about 1 to 2%. Here, we recommend that the automation and algorithms can handle the gradual increase without any other changes or the requirement of seasonality adjustments. But irrespective of what kind of peak your business faces, we recommend keeping your bid strategy on. A lot of clients have also been asking us, what's changed this year? What's made us so confident in recommending automated bid strategies to remain on to capitalize on the increase? Two of the main changes that we've had are better predictions via seasonality adjustments, as well as faster reactions via auction time bidding. Seasonality adjustments is a fully launched feature that tells the algorithm that we expect to see a change in the conversion rates over a period that's greater than, let's say, 6 hours to a few days or a week. You can even factor in additional elements like an average discount rate for the algorithm to take into consideration. It's a secondary input, not a mandatory one. On the other hand, you have faster reactions by using what we call auction time bidding, the newest, coolest kid on the block in SA360. But in fact, a technology you'll all be most familiar with as it's been a part of Google Ads for many, many years now. When we talk about auction time bidding, we're talking about very precise bids per auction. This is a step forward as compared to our legacy intraday bidding that would bid roughly about 4 to 5 times a day. With auction time bidding, your bids can change rapidly and react to sudden changes in performance. We do this by importing your floodlight data into Google Ads. And we move from the existing signals that we were taking into consideration, like events, labels, audience lists, geographic targets, and more, to a whole bunch of new unique signals, like search query, which browser was the user on, what operating system, their demographics, what time of the day it is. And all of these existing and new signals combined with the floodlight data are factored in for each user, for each query, in every single auction, as opposed to the roughly 4 times a day intraday bidding in SA360. Now, if you take a look at the image on screen, you can see the SA360 signals that we used to factor in the legacy bidding, in intraday bidding 4 times a day. And you can see a whole bunch of additional signals from Google Ads that's been layered on. So it's not just the Google Ads signals or SA360, but a combination of both. Now, auction time bidding is a feature that's been launched for a couple of months now. And through the past couple of months, we've seen clients report a 15 to 30% uplift when using auction time bidding. Note, this does not happen overnight post ticking the auction time bidding box. You'll have a learning period that's similar to any new bid strategy that you launched. But post the performance stabilizing over the initial weeks, you could either expect to see a difference in maybe the same number of conversions but a lower CPA, or you might see an increase in conversions at similar CPA. The main thing to note is that you might expect to see a difference due to the change in bidding. Now I've talked a lot about the wonders of auction time bidding, but how can you capitalize on this? Auction time bidding is available as a fully launched feature for target CPA and target ROAS, and is currently in beta for budget bid strategies. So you can expect to launch this either through the beta or the fully launched features for your performance bid strategies. We recommend testing auction time bidding at the earliest so that you can allow for those initial weeks of learning and then smooth performance as we roll into the holiday period. Another thing to note is that you ensure that you're using click-aligned stats for measuring performance. In case you're unsure where you can see them, for each and every bid strategy, just head within the Overview tab for that bid strategy and you can see the click-aligned stats in any of the columns starting with the name bid strategy. If you're unsure if you're currently on intraday bidding or if you're on auction time bidding, you can simply use the auction time status column, and the column will additionally also tell you if the bid strategy is currently in learning through auction time bidding or if it's already enabled and good to roll. A couple of other checks that you can do aside from the auction time status column is ensuring that authorization which is needed at the beginning in case it's flagged is done, because the user has to go manually to Google Ads and accept the link. Last but not the least, you can take a look at the engine bid strategy column, which shows you the campaign targets your bid strategy has assigned to reach the portfolio target. A quick call out over here, there's been a few changes to the naming convention, so it'll likely show as the name of the bid strategy followed by the name of the account appended at the end. Bid strategies will be created at a campaign level for each campaign that's a part of the portfolio. Now moving on to the next feature that we have.
That's it. So seasonality adjustments. Tanya talked a little bit about seasonality adjustments a little bit before. So seasonality adjustments is a super interesting feature when you are expecting a huge increase on your conversion rates. So for example, if you have a promotion on Black Friday or Christmas and you are expecting your conversion rate to be above 30%, and if this promo is between 6 hours and 14 days, we recommend you to apply a seasonality adjustment. What happens when you do a seasonality adjustment is that you are feeding the algorithm with more information, and so the algorithm will be aware of these seasonality adjustments. It will bid more aggressively, and actually, as it is a more competitive event of the year, it will make sure that you are still bringing this high volume, high traffic, increase on traffic to your website. What happens after the event ends? The bids go back to pre-event levels. And so it will take into account the learnings from your day-to-day business and not for this specific event or this specific promo. Where do you find the seasonality adjustments? So when you go to your bid strategies tab, you will find 3 tabs above. One is overview, the bid strategy opportunities, and there's a third one called events, and there you can create then the seasonality adjustments. What you have to input is the expected increase on conversion rates during that promo event, besides of course the description and the date and so on. And you can also optionally you can also add your average sales discount for that specific period. What are these Cyber 5 best practices with the seasonality adjustments? So first of all, each promo should be at least 6 hours. As we said, the expected increase on conversion rate should be above 30%, and the reason for this 30% is that auction time bidding can handle changes on conversion rate below 30% and on gradual increases on conversion rate, while seasonality adjustments are more recommended for really sharp increases. Also, you can set up the same seasonality adjustments on one or more bid strategies, or you can actually set different seasonality adjustments accordingly to the way you have your portfolios organized. So if, for instance, if you have a bid strategies for different types of markets, lines of business or types of campaigns, and you expect different increases on conversion rates according to that, you can actually create different seasonality adjustments. One thing that we also want to be very clear is that you should be a bit conservative regarding your predictions on conversion rate increases. As you are adding this expected conversion rate, it's important not to overestimate your conversion rates. So as we have previously said, we have much faster reactions within the algorithm today. So this is just an extra signal that we are adding into the system to make sure we are capitalizing at the time in which you expect an increase on performance and traffic. The increases will be based on your base CPC prior to the seasonality adjustment. So be sure on the days leading up, you may see a slight increase on your CPCs as things become a little bit more competitive. So take that also into account when you are adding up the seasonality adjustments. Another feature that we recently launched is bid strategy insights. We have mentioned it before as well. The reason for this bid strategy insights is to have more transparency and to help you measuring the performance of your bid strategies with click-aligned metrics. Some of the callouts that are important for the holiday period is that now you can see the conversion delay for each of your individual bid strategies. So you can have a look on, you can have a clear view on how many days it takes from the day your user clicks on your ad and the day it converts. And this is very, very important when you are actually measuring the performance of your bid strategies. And besides giving you this information on conversion delay, you can also see more columns such as the conversions to date. And what this column tells you is that for the period that you are analyzing, you can see which conversions have already occurred, and you can also see the conversions due. So it's the estimated conversions accordingly to your conversion delay, and this helps you to understand if you're actually going into the target, going through your goals or not. Also, one very interesting thing with bid strategy insights is that you will start seeing some notifications with suggestions. For instance, if you have a conversion delay of 20 days and you are analyzing a period of 7 days, you'll probably get a notification to actually analyze a longer period and actually have a better view of your bid strategy performance. Another launch, and this launch on impression share, as you probably already know, the average position metric will depreciate this month in Google Ads. So impression share bid strategies were launched in Search Ads 360s for campaigns in which your main goal is visibility and to be above competition in the page of search results, such as with branding campaigns. We have currently available this bid strategy, and actually what you can do is you can choose a search impression share targets, and besides that you can also choose where you want to appear on the results page. So you can choose to be on the absolute top of results page, or anywhere on results page. So now we are going through budget bid strategies. What are budget bid strategies? Budget bid strategies are part of our budget management suite, and they are super useful for situations in which you want to manage your budgets in an intuitive and very visual way, or in situations in which you have a fixed budget and you want to guarantee that that budget is all invested while maximizing for a goal of ROAS, CPA, or clicks. And so how do you do it? First of all, you go to our budget management suite and you create one or more budget plan. Here you can choose, for example, instead of having a budget plan for the whole account, you may be interested in having a budget plan by product line, market, or type of campaign, for example. So here it will be accordingly to the way you manage your budgets in your business. When you create the budget plan, you can manage it, so you can see if you are spending accordingly to your target right now, or if you are very far away of your targets. And you have a second option to activate budget bid strategies. And here you simply have to activate the bid automation within the budget plan. And what happens when you activate this is that your budget will be invested while maximizing your CPA, ROAS, or clicks. So you have a goal of CPA, ROAS, or maximizing clicks, and it will be fully automated in terms of bidding. For the holiday periods, budget bid strategies are particularly interesting, not only in cases in which you have a fixed budget for a specific promo or a specific month, but also you have an option of customizing the allocation of your budget. So if, for instance, in a week or a particular day of the month you need to have more budget because you know that in that day there will be more competition, more promos, or you even have a promo, you can actually custom your spends according to it. So going to campaign management.
A little bit of shift now because we've talked about all things bidding and all of our exciting features that have launched in the last quarter or so. But moving on from bidding to campaign management, which is equally important during the holiday period. A lot of tasks do come up during this busy time, and while leaving the bid strategies on with each of those features can remove some amount of manual effort on your end, there's still so much more that keeps happening at this time, from updating your ad copies with promotional text, restructuring your campaigns, launching new seasonal products, and some of these can have some very manual repetitive tasks associated with it. What we're going to do today is cover 3 features in SA360 that can allow you to automate some of these or most of it. The first up is inventory plans. Now, inventory management is a tool that allows you to create dynamic and targeted campaigns using a data feed. Now, traditionally, when anyone hears the word data feed, the first feed people think of is a Google Merchant Center feed. But you can also link in your Bing shopping feed, or if you're not a retail industry and your business is in any of the other models, you can even have a custom feed that's set up for inventory management. These are then used to create and cover the long tail of your business. Let's take an example. You're a retailer with about 10,000 plus SKUs. It's going to take a lot of human hours to create tailored ad copies for each of these. Ensure that you have the right landing page. Monitor which of those products have come into stock, out of stock, and then pause and activate the ads accordingly. Instead, you can then do this through inventory management, wherein you create the feed, you link it to your account, and then you can create dynamic ad copies. You can have campaigns, ad groups, keywords, the whole bunch created. Now, the most important thing to note with all of this is the dynamic piece, as that's very important, and whenever you update your feed, you can then have all of your ad copies dynamically updated too. If you've got countdowns to a specific holiday or discounts that are applicable just for Black Friday or Halloween or Thanksgiving, you can make sure they're highlighted and updated in the ad copies at scale. You can even activate and pause your ads on the basis of your stock availability to ensure that you're not spending when an item is not available and you're capitalizing the most when it is. We've talked a lot about retail so far, but let's take a look at some of the other industries you have, like flight routes. You can pause and enable your ads on the basis of available seats on certain routes. You can activate basis the availabilities of bookings or valuations in certain postcodes for real estate, or anything to do with slot bookings. If you're in the entertainment industry, you can even then include the price and the number of tickets remaining for a certain show. You can automatically remove campaigns when you're out of stock. If you're in the telecom business, for each handset that you sell or television program you offer, you can have campaigns, ad groups, ads, and keywords created. You can start to build simple rules to determine how campaigns, ad groups, keywords, ads, and even site links can get generated. Another interesting thing that you can think of here is layering in Google responsive search ads or Bing ad dynamic search ads to have coverage across all the new and sometimes unpredictable queries. Now, I mentioned the dynamic element, and there's a bunch of different functions that you could use to customize the ad copy to make it as tailored and as personalized as you'd like. It could be from highlighting how many units are remaining to how time sensitive a sale is to ensure that you're prompting users into action. The most important bit to recap here is inventory campaigns are ideal for advertising any services or products that you can describe in an inventory feed, especially if availability, pricing, or other details change frequently. Shifting gears from inventory management, which talked about updating the entire campaign management process, let's talk about Ad Builder, which is another template tool wherein it doesn't require a feed, unlike inventory management. Hence, it's suitable to each and every advertiser and very easy and quick to get it up and running. It's a fast way to update your ad copy across multiple ad groups in your SA360 advertiser, and you don't even necessarily need a feed. Quick note here, both inventory management and ad builder can be used across all engines, Google Ads, Bing, and the rest. To set up an ad builder templated ad, you need to head to the template section on the left in the menu, and then you walk through a step-by-step process to create these ad copies at scale. Now, without ad builders, creating and maintaining large search marketing campaigns could require uploading and maintaining large spreadsheets. And when you take a look at the preview here, it might look very similar or familiar to your Excel or Google Sheets if you were to be uploading those ads at bulk. In one UI, without having to switch between tabs, it's an intuitive process to create these templated ads. But in case you're worried that how will these ads look? What if there's an error in the way the templates generated it? You can actually take a look at the setup or the preview before these ads go live. You'll also notice a little option at the bottom wherein you can select to have the ads dynamically updating if you've got a couple of dynamic fields built in. Now, when it comes to business data, a lot of times you might have your campaigns that are built in a specific structure from a marketing perspective, but instead of forcing all of your search marketing reports to fit into a traditional campaign and ad group structure, you can use your business data to create reports that matches the organization that you've set up for your business. As another example, if your remarketing lists are fairly granular, such as abandoned shopping carts, loyalty card members, recent purchasers, and so on, you can add additional columns through business data that organizes all of those granular lists into broader category, like maybe abandoned shopping cart for wholesale versus abandoned shopping cart for retail. Or alternatively, as you can see on the slide, maybe you're a clothing industry or a clothing retailer and you'd like to have your reporting against women's apparel, beauty, and home as opposed to traditional campaign names. In that case, business data reporting is for you. Another use case for business data is to layer your templated ad builder ads with business data, with potentially the category name in headline 1 and discounts in headline 2. Business data can organize your campaign logic, such as brands, promotion, or even regions, and the dynamic fields that you input in Ad Builder can pull in key details from your business data. Again, a quick shout out here. Business data is not mandatory if you want to use Ad Builder. You can indeed use Ad Builder without a feed or without business data. But if you do have those details, you can also have your ads pull in those messaging points from your business data.
Okay, so let's go. So after applying the best practices on smart bidding and campaign management, a key aspect, of course, is measuring the results. In SA360, we have several tools available that will help you extract all the insights you need in an automated way. So within the Search Ads 360 UI, we recommend you to use formula columns, rules, and saved reporting views. Formula columns are spreadsheet-like functions, so you can create different formulas according to your needs. We recommend for the holiday period 2 useful ones: the pacing columns, which are usually applied to absolute metrics such as clicks and costs, to give you a directional view or on in-day performance versus a previous period, and also trend columns, in which you can calculate the trend on CTR, conversion rate, ROAS, for you to compare performance in a better way. The second thing that we recommend you as well is rules. This actually makes you save time. It allows you to automate specific tasks. Some examples in which rules are super useful is like as pausing, changing a site link, pausing ads, increasing budgets accordingly to ROAS, for example, and you can not only use rules to actually activate some task, but also just to give you an alert, and after the alert you choose if you want to take some decision or not. The third one is save reporting views. Here it's super useful. So instead of doing selecting the columns you want to observe, the metrics that you want to analyze, anytime you go to the UI, you can actually save reporting views. So if, for instance, when looking to a different line of business, you use different columns, or when you look to different types of campaigns, such as performance oriented or branding campaigns, if you look to specific metrics that are different, you can actually save views. So anytime that you go there, you just go to the named view, you just choose the view that you want to review, and that's it. A very useful example of a rule for the holiday period, it is related with budget management. So we all know that sometimes managing budget is a bit complex. One of the examples that you can use during the holiday period is that creating a rule that if some campaigns are capped by budget, you put the rule to uncap that budget, or simply to receive the alert and then choose if you should uncap or not. And another example of a very interesting rule is that if your budget spent is higher than 40% and your ROAS is also in line or above what you want with a better performance that you have for your business, you can actually increase your daily budget. So if your campaigns are performing very well in terms of ROAS and performance, and you have limited budgets, you can actually create this rule to make it simpler and agile. Another way of reporting in Search Ads 360 and measuring is Data Studio. Data Studio gives you a lot of dashboards that are super intuitive, super visual, and that you can share with the whole team, with your team internally. And currently it has a lot of connectors with Search Ads 360, so you can push specific metrics from Search Ads 360 for your Google Data Studio dashboards. And one thing that is super good now is that if you go to the Google Data Studio website, you will find specific templates, and we currently already have templates for Search Ads 360, so you just would have to edit your account and edit some specific metrics that you wish for your dashboard. And we also have other templates for other Google Marketing Platform products and for Google Ads as well, so you can see it all in just one dashboard. Regarding timelines, so we will go through the timelines in more detail. We have talked about it in the beginning, but now that we know a bit more about the specific features that are important for this holiday period, starting by wait 8 weeks to peak. So this should be now. We know that in 2 months we have Black Friday. So what we would recommend you to do now is to start implementing Black Friday keywords, setting up your reporting views in the Search Ads 360 UI, and start also setting up formula columns, set views, and rules. Another very important thing to do now is to start setting up your data-driven attribution model, and as well your reporting columns and views. From 6 weeks to the peak, what you recommend you to do is to start setting up your budget groups. So before you create a budget plan, you have to create the budget groups according to the way you share the budgets in your business. Set up holiday inventory campaign templates, and start using a Data Studio to create your performance reports. 3 weeks to the peak, we recommend you to do the sales calendar events. So add seasonality adjustments if you are expecting high increases on your conversion rates. Set up ad builder templates, and add new rules all alerts that you will need for the specific period of the peak of your promo. After the peak, bring your accounts back to normal activity. So make sure that your seasonality adjustment, the end date is before it's right when the peak ends, so it's not still connected even if you don't have the conversion rate so high, and actually analyze all your performance through Data Studio. And next steps.
Now, I know that it can seem like a lot of information overload. So if I want a couple of takeaways, the most important things for you to remember is when it comes to smart bidding, ensure you're keeping your bid strategies on throughout the holiday period. Use auction time bidding for all of your conversion-based bid strategies. And if you are anticipating an increase or a change in conversion rate that's greater than 30% for any promotions that last up to 7 days, then use seasonality adjustments to inform your CPA or your ROAS bid strategies. Leverage your budget management and budget bid strategies to monitor those media spends. And if high visibility is key for you, ensure you're using impression share bid strategies for key brand and generic terms. When it comes to campaign management, consider using inventory management if you're looking to automate the entire process from campaign creation, ad groups, keywords, and ads. Or alternatively, if you're only looking to launch a whole bunch of promotional ads or ads at scale, use the ad builder templates to automate those structures. And when it comes to measurement, consider using data-driven attribution models so that you're able to assign value to each and every touch point in the consumer path to purchase in a more accurate way. And last but not the least, ensure that you've got those highly visual data studio reports that are set up and that are built, which you can use to share with any key stakeholders. Now at this point, we're going to take a few questions that you've sent in either through the comments or through the form. I see two very similar questions over here. The first one is, auction time bidding seems a bit slow to react to changes in performance. How and when to use seasonal adjustments? And a very similar other question is, if you use TCPA strategies, seasonal bidding won't work, either if we opt out of auction time bidding, or what do you suggest we do? Now the key messaging over here is auction time bidding is very quick to react to those changes. So if you had to turn on auction time bidding, you will see that because of each and every bid, it's considering all of those different contextual signals. It's able to react faster if it notices that the conversion rates are changing, if users are behaving a little differently. However, if in case you do not have auction time bidding turned on for any reason, but you still do have an expected peak, which could be something that's about 8 hours on Black Friday, or it could be a 5-day flash sale that you've got. And if you don't have auction time bidding turned on, that's when we recommend that you turn on seasonality adjustments. But a quick recap to call out over here, auction time bidding can react quickly and rapidly to those changes. Now, when it comes to how quickly does it react, the main thing to note is that you test it and you launch it at the earliest to ensure that during the period of your sale or peak period, you don't have the bid strategy going through learning, but the performance is already stabilized post a few weeks of learning.
That's it. So we have a second question here, which is, I'm using a ROAS bid strategy. During Black Friday, my costs and revenue are rising, but there is basically no uplift in conversion rates. So the question is, how do I act with my bid strategy during that time, using seasonality adjustments, switching to manual bidding, and also what to do after the sales period? What is the best practices here? So if you are not expecting a huge increase on your conversion rate, so no uplift on your conversion rate, you don't have to turn off the bid strategy. So you maintain the bid strategy, ideally with auction time bidding on, because it's a more advanced algorithm. To have the best performance, you will want to have auction time bidding and maintain your bid strategy with ROAS. And after the sales period, you don't have to do anything at all as well. So if you are not expecting any conversion rates, the idea here is maintain the bid strategy, and as with auction time bidding, it will actually adapt to these increases in costs and revenue.
Now we have another question here that says, I have a very small budget for my holiday season marketing, and I am only able to bid against brand or brand plus generic keywords with exact and BMM. Do you have any recommendations to boost my performance during the holidays, knowing that I'm an entirely new brand on the market? So there are a couple of elements to actually consider over here. Is gaining high visibility on the search engine page your priority, or do you have a performance target in mind? If as a new brand you want to ensure that you're getting out all of those branding keywords and you're gaining a top position or the absolute top position on the page, we'd highly recommend the impression share bid strategies, because that helps you capitalize on your position on the search page and ensure that you're gaining the visibility that you'd want for your brand. But let's say if you also have a performance target in mind, or if you have a very small budget to play with and you don't want to exceed that budget bid strategies could come in handy over here. So unlike all of your other bid strategies for CPA or ROAS, the difference with budget bid strategies is the main goal is you've given it a small budget or any amount of budget to play with, and you've also then told a secondary target. Your secondary target could be CPA, could be ROAS, it could be clicks. The system will aim to spend the budget that you've allocated and nothing more than that, while also being within the range of whatever performance target that you've set. So the difference over here is it is not going to drive solely the ROAS target or the CPA target, but the aim is to ensure that it keeps in mind the budget that you've got while still being within the range of whatever target set. So maybe a combination of impression share plus budget bid strategies, or just one of them depending on what your target is for this holiday season.
That's it. So we have one last question. Do the budget bid strategies use the exact same technology as standard bid strategies, so as we call usually performance bid strategies? So yes, the only difference here is that with performance bid strategies, your primary goal is either CPA, ROAS, ERS, or even impression share, and you are not so worried about having a fixed budget. What happens with the budget bid strategy is your primary goal is to invest the budget that you have planned for that specific period, and what the budget bid strategy does is it takes into account a secondary goal, which is optimizing your ROAS, CPA or clicks for that specific budget. So it will guarantee that you invest all the budget that you have planned, and at the same time maximize your CPA or ROAS, but you don't have a fixed target ROAS or CPA as you have with performance bid strategies.
All right, folks, that's it for today. There appears to be no other questions. As we mentioned at the beginning, ensure that you do sign up for for all of our GMP newsletters, so that you can keep updated with all of these features as and when they come out, and so that you can be updated about trainings like this one today. See you all.
Thank you. Bye.